What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, the stimulus package update, daily news, pretty much everything you need to know about on a daily basis. Money, investing, the stock market. Whew, there's a lot going on here. Senator Joe Manchin says he wants to press the pause button on the stimulus package. He wants to see the bill, see the text, have the Congressional Budget Office do the math on the bill, make sure it's not going to add any debt and add any inflation to the country. Meanwhile, the progressive Democrats in the House say that they could announce a deal today. They could announce a vote today. There's a lot going on here today. Don't forget to hit the like button for us. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe down below. Let's get into the details. Here is Democratic leader Pramila Jayapal of the Progressive Caucus. Check this out.
And I'm very happy to say that we are now awaiting negotiations amongst senators on prescription drug pricing and child care and some details on immigration. But the Progressive Caucus, assuming good resolution of those issues from the Senate side, that we will be excited to vote for both bills. We now feel like we have what we need. We are taking the president's word at the fact that he believes he can get 50 votes in the Senate. And, you know, I hope that the two senators that we've been waiting on these months, who have come to the table in good faith and negotiated, that they understand that this is a leap of faith. But, you know, assuming we get these final negotiations done, we're ready to pass both bills. And I think the caucus feels very good about the fact that we've been able to do what we said from the beginning, which is pass both bills at the same time, get the entirety of the president's agenda to his desk for signature, and ultimately deliver transformative change for people across this country.
But there's a big if there. If you don't get Senate agreement on child care, immigration, prescription drugs, does that mean that you won't go forward?
Well, I think that we are very, very close, is my understanding. And it isn't just the two senators at this point. You have to get 50 votes in the Senate.
Now, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says that the bill issues could be resolved by the end of the day, and they could have a deal announced in the House of Representatives by today, basically ignoring Senator Joe Manchin from the Senate. Remember, this is the House. The House can basically vote on and announce a deal despite what the Senate or Senator Joe Manchin wants to do, because the House can pass a bill and even vote on the bill regardless of what the Senate or what Senator Joe Manchin wants to do. Speaker Nancy Pelosi, leader of the Democrats and leader of the House of Representatives from California, said Tuesday after huddling with Democrats that the handful of outstanding issues holding up President Biden's mammoth social and climate spending package could be resolved by the end of today. She says, quote, "I'm not announcing a vote, at least not yet," she told reporters as she left the meeting. "But I did say that this could be resolved by the end of the day." The speaker's prediction was sunnier than that of many of her rank and file members, who for weeks have seen deadlines come and go on two key pillars of Biden's domestic agenda: the Build Back Better package and the bipartisan infrastructure package. Quote, "I can sit there and I can BS you, but the real answer is that there was no clarity," one House Democrat grumbled as he left the caucus meeting. Pelosi and her leadership team have been trying to project optimism on the $1.75 trillion package, even as Biden and the party have struggled for weeks to strike a deal on the social spending plan to aid families, students, workers, and the elderly. In a closed-door meeting, Nancy Pelosi informed members that she hopes the remaining issues will be unresolved, will be ironed out by Tuesday, today, and that the Rules Committee will be able to mark up legislative text of the Build Back Better as early as Wednesday, tomorrow. That would set up a floor vote on both the infrastructure and reconciliation packages sometime this week or by the end of this week. Quote, Debbie Dingell said, "Hopefully the negotiators will finish tonight." I'm being optimistic, said Debbie Dingell, a member of Pelosi's leadership team, and says, I think we've got to act this week. They hope a deal can be reached on language to allow Medicare to negotiate lower prescription drug prices, but only for older drugs that are no longer under the quote exclusivity period. Now, note that I believe that this is not just for people on Medicare, it will be for people on private insurance as well. But it is the Medicare portion of the government that will be negotiating the lower prescription drug prices for the country. Fox News reports here that House looks to pass the spending bills, the stimulus package, and the infrastructure bills today. Democrats are still working to hammer out details on the $1.75 trillion social spending plan, which is the stimulus package, and the bipartisan infrastructure package as early as today. So they are very, very close, despite what Senator Joe Manchin says. He wants to pause on the bill. He wants to see the bill. He wants to see the math on the bill from the Congressional Budget Office. Uh, so the House of Representatives is basically saying, we're going to move forward without you. So we're at a bit of a crossroads, and I guess we're going to see what happens because they need Joe Manchin's vote. They can't pass the bill without him. They need all 50 senators' votes, just like if Bernie Sanders says there's not enough in the bill. They need Bernie Sanders' votes. They need Kirsten Sinema's vote. They need Joe Manchin's vote. All 50 Democratic senators have to vote yes on the bill to get this passed. Because remember, there's not a single Republican that is going to vote yes on this bill. There's not a single Republican that voted yes on the third stimulus check package bill, the first stimulus package underneath President Biden, the $1,400 stimulus checks, the $1,400 stimulus checks for children and adult dependents, as well as the child tax credit, the monthly payments. There were $250 to $300 that were passed earlier this year, and they're going to extend that in this package that for one more year. $250 to $300, those monthly checks, those are going to go for one more year to 65 million children. So as of right now, Joe Manchin's demands to put income thresholds on there of $60,000 for a family, a working couple. Those are not in there as of right now, and there's also not a work requirement on there. So they are going to extend those monthly checks to 65 million children or 65 million families, called the child tax credits, for one more year. We also have multiple different advocacy groups looking to push to have an adult stimulus check in there for $1,400 as well. Again, I recommend you call, email, and tweet your representatives saying, hey, we need a fourth stimulus check in there for adults as well. In addition to the child tax credit, those monthly checks that they do want to extend for one more year, those are every single month. I also want to show you this new report that just came out yesterday. It says income inequality during the pandemic was kept under control by historic stimulus checks, a new study finds. It says if it weren't for the federal government spending on extra unemployment benefits and stimulus checks, this last recession would have been much worse. Yeah, and I truly believe that. During the first wave of the pandemic, the U.S. job market underwent unprecedented shocks. In April of 2020, the unemployment rate reached 14.8%, so almost 15%, the highest rate observed since data collection began in 1948, soaring from just 3.5% in February of 2020. The worst affected were low-paying jobs with median hourly earnings of $10.22, according to estimates using a pay stub generator, which comprised 44% of the country's workers, but could have been a lot worse were it not for unprecedented government intervention through stimulus and unemployment checks. According to economists at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, the pandemic should have resulted in a dramatic increase in wage inequality had the federal government not stepped in with the federal stimulus through the CARES Act and the enhanced unemployment benefits. What's more, unlike other recessions, those who retained their jobs did not experience pay cuts. Well, I'm not sure about that. I think some people experience pay cuts, but that's what this report says at least. Quote, those who remained employed didn't experience any atypical earning changes, says Elizabeth Forsyth, a professor of labor and employment relations and of economics at the University of Illinois. Quote, the lowest paid amongst us, however, really bore the brunt of it. They were much more likely to lose work during the pandemic. And I can definitely agree with that. After sifting through the data from the current population survey, the primary source of the U.S. labor force statistics, the researchers found that the aggregate real labor earnings decreased by more than $250 billion between March and July of 2020 compared to the same period in the previous year. The decline in aggregate earnings was entirely driven by declines in employment, particularly among the lowest paid workers. But the $600 in weekly unemployment insurance, unemployment bonuses provided by the federal government managed to prevent a disaster, along with stimulus checks, child tax credit monthly checks. A lot of these things really helped keep our economy going, keep people going during what could have been a lot worse. 3 stimulus checks for children, unemployment bonuses, a lot of other things like paycheck protection program, food stamp increases, rent assistance. There's a lot of different things that really helped a lot of people during this. This figure was not chosen by accident. It was meant to provide a 100% replacement rate for the median full-time earner when combined with the standard state unemployment insurance rate, which is typically 40%. However, the policy actually overshot its goal, pushing the median replacement rate to 118%. On top of that, the U.S. government has sent out 3 rounds of stimulus checks, $1,200, $600, and $1,400 over the past year in response to the pandemic. Critics have found this cash was too much. Well, they're probably not the ones struggling, adding extra strain to an already over-indebted federal government. However, the researchers note that the generous unemployment and stimulus packages served to propel consumer demand during the early month of the recession, and things could have been much worse. Imagine if there was no help at all. Quote, those are the people who are likely to spend every dollar and need it very badly. So giving them extra money very likely rescued the economy from a more severe recession, Forsyth said. It's been an extremely successful policy from the perspective of increasing income at the bottom of the income scale. During a recession, we want people to spend money. So we need to get money in the hands of the people that are actually going to spend it, because that's what's going to keep us from tipping into an even worse recession and can help us get into a recovery. On the public policy side, we want to help people who have lost their jobs so they don't also lose their houses or get evicted because they can't make their rent. That's where kind of the rent assistance has really come in to help out a lot of people. I have a video on that showing you how to get rent assistance. You can get your rent paid for up to 12 months. But we also want to stimulate aggregate demand in our economy. People who have lost their jobs face a big income shock, and by replacing the money they lost, we're keeping the economic contraction from spiraling out of control. So as you can see here, this data and this new report says that these stimulus checks, these unemployment, this rent assistance, paycheck protection programs, SNAP increases, all these different programs throughout the last year and a half have really helped out a lot. I remember just the paycheck protection programs as well really kept the small business owners and the paychecks to the small business employees. That one program alone really helped out small businesses. And I remember at one point, there was a report that said 37% of all small businesses went out of business. Imagine how bad it would have been if there was no paycheck protection program to help keep small businesses in business. And most small businesses didn't need to pay back that Paycheck Protection Program loan. It was basically a forgivable loan. It was kind of like a stimulus check for small businesses based on how many employees you had. It basically, you used it to pay the paychecks for your employees, and it was a forgivable loan, basically. That one program alone is just one of the so many different aids that we've seen during this program. A family of four, when we look at just the third stimulus check from just the last round of stimulus checks, $1,400 times four was $5,600 just from the third stimulus check. Then we look at the child tax credits, which are monthly checks going on. We look at the SNAP increase that was just done here, just started last month in October, 25% increase, which is a ongoing thing. That's going to be a 25% increase forever. So if you get SNAP and you're not getting a very small amount, like $5 a month or something like that, if you're getting the average amount, which is, God, I can't even remember what the average amount is, but I think the average person is getting an extra like $20 or $30 a month. And if you're getting like $100 a month on SNAP or something like that, then you're getting a pretty decent amount. And if you're a family of four and you're getting a good amount, then that's a pretty decent amount to help you. If you're only getting a really small amount, then SNAP's not really going to help you that much. But we have so many different programs going on. Rent assistance. I've literally seen so many people get rent assistance here. Our viewers that have gotten 3 months of their rent paid, which could be $3,000. 6 months of your rent paid, which could be $6,000, 12 months of your rent paid, which could be $12,000. And one of the provisions in this next package is $150 billion. And again, remember, everything's changing here by the minute. It's like $150 billion for affordable housing that the government's going to be building, as well as inside that is $25 billion more for rent assistance, where the government will literally pay your rent. So if you know how to apply for rent assistance, you definitely want to try that. If you've gotten rent assistance in the past, apply again, because you can get it again. I've already seen comments from people saying that they've gotten it twice. Not a lot of people, but some people. If you've gotten turned down in the past, you might want to try again, because they're lowering the qualifications and they're opening the programs up to more people. Rent assistance is available in all 50 states. All 50 states. And they're lowering the qualifications because some states are literally like potentially going to be losing their funding if they don't send it out faster, because the federal government is like, you have to send this money out, especially some of the money has to go out before the end of this year, and it's November. So that's just one of the stimulus programs that are going on right now. We have the $50 internet program that's going on right now. They'll pay $50 off your internet bill. That website is getemergencybroadband.org. That's from the third stimulus check package, getemergencybroadband.org. I'll just show you that really quickly. Yeah, getemergencybroadband.org. You literally just go here and apply right here. The emergency broadband benefit, you get $50 off your home internet bill or your cell phone bill. It's literally a federal website, and this has been going on for like 4 or 5 months now. We've had people get hundreds of dollars off their internet bill or their cell phone bill from this. Literally a lot of different programs from the stimulus package, from the last ones, and there's probably going to be more from this one after they pass this one. So yeah, we'll see. They're going to extend the child tax credit payments for 1 more year, and 2 more big Social Security raises possibly. So we just had this is a little bit confusing for people. So the 5.9%, I'll show this on the screen here. So the New York Times, you can see here, Social Security cost of living increase will be 5.9% in 2022. This kicks in January, I believe. Social Security benefits to rise by 5.9% in 2022, the most in 4 decades. So Social Security is going up by 5.9%. The increase, the cost of living adjustment that applies to about 70 million Americans, comes as consumer prices have jumped sharply. So yeah, Social Security increase is going up by 5.9%. Okay, this is the annual cost of living adjustment. This is the largest increase in 38 years. Okay, last year it was only 1.3%. So this is going to be a huge increase for Everybody. The largest increase in 38 years, okay? 5.9%. So whatever you get now, whatever your amount is, you're going to get 5.9% more. The average amount of Social Security is $1,500 and some dollars. Okay, well this search says that the average monthly Social Security check is $1,437. So we'll just go with this here, 1437 for this particular data according to the Social Security Administration. So $1,437, 1437 times 0.059 is going to go up by about $85 if your benefit was 1437. So that's going to be an increase of $85 a month times 12. That's going to be an extra $1,017 per year if your benefit was $1,437 a year. Remember that every single person, or per month, every single person is different because every single person gets a slightly different Social Security check per month. Easiest way to figure it out is to just take your amount and multiply it by, so here, if your number is, if you make $1,000 per month on Social Security, multiply that by 0.059, $59 more per month. Per month. You can multiply that times 12, and you'll see the amount you're going to get per year. An additional $708 if you make $1,000. If you make $800 a month, multiply that times 0.059. You're going to get an additional $47 a month if you make $800 a month of Social Security. Times that times 12. You're going to get an additional $566 per year. So again, this is just the cost of living adjustment. That's already been announced. That's set in stone. That's going to kick in January. That's already set. They also want to do two more. There's been two other bills just announced to raise Social Security benefits, and they can do that by, there's several different proposals here, but they want to raise taxes on the wealthy to pay for it and to adjust several other things here. I just did a very good video on that, going over these two new bill proposals, how they want to do this, probably in the next stimulus package here coming down the line. This would raise Social Security benefits by potentially several $100s per month. There is going to be another stimulus package after they pass this one. So there's a lot of different things in this stimulus package and this physical infrastructure package. But then there's going to be another stimulus package after this. President Biden basically said, let's pass this stimulus package. It's about $1.75 trillion, which is half of the $3.5 trillion. So basically, they're going to pass this half bill. He said, we're going to take this bite at the apple, and then we're going to come back around for the other bite at the apple. So let's just agree. Let's just pass what we can agree on now, and then we're going to come back and just try to agree on the rest later, pass what we can agree on later. Because again, we've kind of been talking about this and agreeing on it for so long that they just need to pass what they can agree on now, pass it, kind of, say, hey, we've been talking about this for a while, so everything that we can agree on now, we're just going to pass now, then pass the physical infrastructure package, secure everything in those two packages, get them done, out the door, pass, finito. Then we're going to come back around for the rest. So at least we have those two out the door. So, all right, we finished this and we finished this. Those are done. Then we're going to come back around for the rest of the package in the next package. And then there's going to be a whole bunch of new stuff in there. Possible Social Security increase, maybe a monthly check for adults like the child tax credit is. Maybe they'll have a monthly check in there for low and middle income adults or something like that as well. So we'll have to see. I'll keep you up to date with everything here on this channel. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't yet. It's completely free to do so you don't miss out on new videos. After subscribing, click the bell icon that appears next to the subscribe button so you get notifications when we go live, which is every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So click here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. This bottom video is how to get rent assistance. And this video is that important video on the two new Social Security raises. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.